Welcome to Movie Recap, a channel dedicated to those addicted to movies. Our focus is to showcase the best recap of your favorite flick. Sit back, grab your popcorn and get ready to be amazed by Fast and Furious 9. While Dom Toretto, Letty, and their kid are enjoying a quiet existence off the grid, they are aware that danger is never far from the serene horizon. This time, the threat makes Dom face his previous transgressions in order to protect the people he cares about the most. His group quickly unites to foil a world-shattering scheme being carried out by Dom's abandoned brother, the most accomplished assassin and high-performance driver they have ever come across. Spoilers ahead. The year 1989, Dom and Jacob, Jack Toretto's sons, are working on his crew while he competes in a race. Dom snaps at a few other crew members for making his dad feel threatened by racer Kenny Linder, but Jack urges Dom not to worry about them. When Linder clips Jack's car, it takes off and explodes in midair, leaving Dom distraught. Jack manages to get back out on the circuit. Current day, little Brian and Dom live in peace and quiet in the country with Letty. They see an automobile drawing up to their house while Dom demonstrates how to operate a tractor for Brian. When Dom and Letty realize it's just Roman, Tej, and Ramsey, they arm themselves. They tell them that Mr. Nobody has gone missing and that he was hunting Cipher and looking for a top-secret item when his plane was shot down and crashed on an island. Now that they are parents, Dom and Letty are unwilling to lend a hand to the children. Still, the two decide to go through. After little Brian is put to bed later that evening, Dom and Letty talk about the mission and how Brian and Mia managed to escape this profession after becoming parents, but Letty points out that they are not Brian and Mia. As she heads out for her motorbike journey, Dom watches the footage of Mr. Nobody notices a cross that reminds him of a postcard he once received from Mexico. When the group visits the island of Montequinto, they discover the plane's wreckage. Just as a group of shooters opens fire on the gang, they unearth half of the device. As the heroes drive off, they run across a minefield. Roman just escapes being crushed or blown up, but the heroes manage to kill some of the gunmen. He drives over a fallen bridge with Tej and Ramsey just in time to avoid falling to their deaths. Then, Dom and Letty are shocked to see Jacob seize the gadget and disappear with it, when he is picked up by a big drone that is magnetized. After driving over the cliff, Dom and Letty are able to safely land on another cliffside by grabbing onto a rope from the bridge. Letty tells the group that Jacob is Dom's brother as the heroes head back home. The aftermath of Jack's death is depicted in a flashback. After making crude remarks about Jack, Linder arrived and began to abuse Dom. Dom was sentenced to prison after he nearly killed Linder with a wrench in retaliation. He met Leo and Santos there while working as a mechanic. They talked about the tragedy that killed Jack and how Jacob was the last person to work on the automobile before he passed away. Following his release, Dom warned Jacob that he would have to drive home and never come back if he lost. Both Torettos used NOS to boost their cars during the race, but Jacob went too early, which caused Dom to win and sent Jacob into exile. Jacob has a meeting with Otto, his partner. They have Cipher in a glass cage at their base. Though she is aware of Jacob's ambition to surpass Dom, Jacob turns her offer to work with her in order to exact revenge, stating that he feels more comfortable working independently. He gives Cipher half of the device. She tells Otto and him that the other half they are looking for is in Edinburgh. The group heads to their hiding place, where Dom feels that because of Jacob, he has to bear the responsibility for the task. Tej and Ramsey believe Roman is full of shit when he suggests to them that they must be invincible because they have emerged virtually unhurt from a number of crazy situations. Mia eventually joins everyone since she still has feelings for Jacob. The equipment, named Project Ares, can be used to hack into any system, giving someone like Jacob influence over things like the world's nuclear weapons stockpile, as Ramsey goes on to explain to everyone. Additionally, it is found that amid Mr. Nobody's investigation, there were prints that belonged to Han. Dom then mentions that the postcard he received of Mexico had a stamp from Tokyo where Han had promised to travel with Giselle, and that it had been mailed on the day Han was reported to have died. Dom searches for Buddy, a former family friend who collaborated with Jack. Dom is aware that Buddy took in Jacob following his banishment and that Mia conversed with him for a short while before he simply disappeared. Buddy lets Dom know that Jacob will be in London, but he expresses his wish that Jacob find serenity there. Letty and Mia travel to Tokyo in order to find Han. They uncover an apartment with a Mexican flag on it after it appears they have run out of leads, which is a reference to Han's constant remarks about Tokyo being his Mexico in terms of a haven for bandits. In the apartment, they meet Elle, a young woman who is acquainted with them and alerts them about armed robbers' attacks. After that, Mia and Letty battle the thugs and free Elle from the apartment. Han uses a sniper rifle to take out the last few assailants. Once Roman and Tej locate Twinkie, Eddie Hu, and Sean Boswell, they appeal for help on Dom's behalf. A rocket is connected to a Pontiac Fiero that they are seen working on. The three are happy that it worked well enough after testing it and didn't blow up. And the vehicle blows up. After arriving in London, Dom meets Queenie Shaw, who has just committed a jewelry store heist. While Dom asks Queenie if she has heard anything about Jacob, they flee from the authorities. She informs him that she has heard rumors that he and his group will be appearing in Edinburgh. Dom is dropped off by Queenie at an estate where Otto is throwing a party. Dom gets inside to face Jacob, but before he can do so, he tells his older brother to go because he forced him to do so years before. When an armed group that appears to be working for Otto arrives, Dom is compelled to escape. When it is discovered that Lisa, an old friend, is in charge of the team, she assists Dom in escaping when he is brought into jail. Just as Jacob and Otto are getting ready to pull off their heist, Roman, Tej, and Ramsey arrive in London. The security cameras are acting strangely, which Ramsey interprets as something from Jacob's team obstructing them. On Roman's suspicion, Tej and Roman track down 3 big truck drivers and engage in combat. It turns out that Jacob has been able to locate the second piece of Ares since they are using a truck equipped with an electromagnetic field. He begins to use the zip line to escape, but Dom notices him and follows. Ramsey clumsily commandeers the truck and drives it around the streets of London, slamming into numerous automobiles as he goes, while Roman and Tej battle additional goons inside. Jacob is caught by Dom, who battles him, but the younger Toretto escapes in his own vehicle. Dom joins the other 3, and they move Jacob's automobile in their direction with the help of the truck. Following this defeat, Otto and his men head back to their stronghold. He gets taunted by Cipher, who tells him that this is the point where the villain gets hurt and she's ready to help. Jacob is taken into the gang's care. All the boys are happy to see Han again as Mia and Letty return to the hideout with Han and Elle. He describes the events leading up to his death after Giselle passed away. He traveled to Tokyo, where he was hired by Mr. Nobody because he had previously collaborated with Giselle and believed Han could be trusted as well. They recognized a chance to stage Deckard Shaw's death once he entered the picture. When Elle was a little girl, her parents were slain because they worked on Project Ares. Because her blood is essential to activating Ares, Han came to protect her. Soon after, Otto and his henchmen raid the hiding place. Here, it is revealed that Jacob was a Mr. Nobody agent gone rogue. He also tells Dom that their father had wanted to use the race that day to pay off the family's debts, and he specifically asked Jacob to tamper with the car. However, they withheld this information from Dom in order to preserve Jack's reputation, and Jacob had no idea what would transpire. While Otto and Jacob flee with Elle and the second piece of Ares, the heroes battle Otto's troops. Dom sticks behind when the majority of the crew leaves, using some chains to bring down a platform that he and the other goons are on and crash into the sea below. It seems like Dom is having a vision of Jack teaching him and Jacob how to fix vehicles when they were younger. He notices little Brian inquiring as to his expected return date. Then, confirming what Jacob had mentioned about their problems, he gets a recollection in which he witnessed Jack having a heated phone conversation. Letty dives into the sea to save Dom just as it appears that he is about to quit up. To aid in the management of Ares, Otto sends a satellite into orbit. Elle is also made to activate it by force. As the heroes advance near Tbilisi, they navigate the city in their armored vehicle. In an attempt to destroy the satellite, Tej and Roman utilize a rocket car mounted atop a drone and are also sent into orbit. As they approach Jacob and Otto, the gang uses the villain's electromagnets to destroy oncoming vans. Once Elle is inside the truck, Mia and Han manage to kill the thugs keeping her safe. Dom then devises a scheme to make the cars magnetized to the truck's front, and with Jacob's assistance, they flip the vehicle upward until they are outside of the city. When Tej and Roman's car breaks down while Ares is almost finished uploading, they are forced to smash into the satellite to break it and cut the connection. Cipher sends a drone after Dom, who is still inside the truck with Otto on the outskirts of the city. Dom escapes the truck just as she launches a blast at it, and the truck collides with Cipher's drone as a result of the collision. Angry after yet another setback, she flees once more. Tej and Roman are encountered by a few space station personnel in the interim. After that, Dom and Jacob bury the hatchet and he splits up with Dom and Mia once more. Dom brings little Brian to the racetrack. A last flashback depicts an adolescent Dom and Jacob comforting one another following Jack's passing, demonstrating their unwavering love for one another. Santos, who is joining the group for this barbecue, claims that Leo has opened a restaurant in Brooklyn, but the food is terrible. Han rejoins Earl, Twinkie, and Sean after bringing Elle. They wait for Brian, the final guest. We really hope you enjoyed today's recap of Fast and Furious 9. Please leave a comment below of what you loved about the movie and why. Be sure to like the video and please don't forget to support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss any amazing content. Until next time, lights, camera, action. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.